2D board gamers, and we are going to do an Unfathomable uh, from the Abyss expansion box unboxing. But before that, we're going to kind of go over a little history of the Unfathomable game. So, as you see, Dirk's taking the strap off of Battlestar Galactica, which is one of our favorite games. So, Battlestar Galactica came out when the show was still on in the aughts, and just the base game, I do like it, but I really love the game with the expansion.
Oh yeah, no, the expansion adds so much to it. I mean, and so many different things with each expansion. But my favorite thing was when they got rid of the CIC cards. Honestly, I mean, because that dramatically changed the game, probably. So, yeah.
And so Unfathomable, the base game, which we'll get to, it kind of falls in the same category as the base game for Battlestar Galactica. I like it, but if I compare being able to play Unfathomable versus Battlestar Galactica, I definitely would choose Battlestar Galactica because mainly for the expansions, which is a disadvantage to Unfathomable, which hopefully this new expansion will help mitigate a little bit.
That's true. But however, this has been out of print for several years, and the price of it, if you don't have a copy, is enough that it prevents most people from being able to probably play the game. If you can even find it, it can be terribly expensive. Base game's not too bad, but the expansions, you could be talking several $100s a piece for those.
It might cost you about $1,000 minimum to get the base game and all three expansions.
Yeah, and if you try to find them,
if you can even find them.
Yeah, and if you can find them if you can still find them sealed, you're probably upping that price substantially. Right. So this is like, if you get the opportunity, definitely play the Battlestar Galactica version. At least give that one a try. But for those who don't have it and don't have access to it, they came up with a solution because they no longer have the rights to this game, so they can't put this one out anymore.
Right. So what they did was they took the mechanics of Battlestar Galactica, and they took one of the themes that they have, which is Arkham Horror. Like here, we got Arkham Horror, the card game, but they had the Arkham files, and so they came up with Unfathomable. So Unfathomable, like I said, is basically it's the base game of Battlestar Galactica, and they threw in some stuff from the first expansion. Yeah. But they and added their own twist to it too, and made it Cthulhu theme. So Arkham Horror Files theme.
So I've heard this one referred to as BSG on the sea.
Yep. But so now there is a new expansion for Unfathomable, and that's what this video is. And we're going to open it up and see what it does. We're not going to get a chance to play it today because there's only two of us. It's like BSG, and we want more people. I think it's 3 minimum.
It says 3 to 6 players, 2 to 4 hours. And honestly, probably more so than this game, that probably fits really well. BSG, I don't think if I remember right, it always felt like it played longer than it said it did.
Yeah.
But this one, that actually feels pretty accurate.
All right, so let's see if we can get this open.
That's a game in and of itself. Yeah. It's just getting to the game.
All right, so
the smell of fresh cardboard.
All right, so let's. So Dirk will be buying me another copy of the game.
Hey, wait a minute now.
Okay, so we got the rule book here.
Oh, I kind of like the flavor of the rule book a little bit, just the way it looks. It reminds me of the cards, actually.
All right, so we have something called horror figures. So we got a Shoggoth, we got a drowned spirit, and a grasping tendril.
But they've got minis now.
Well, yeah, the first game had minis as well. We got 4 horror.
Oh, you're right, it did.
4 horror cards, a horror token, 12 ally cards, whatever those are. Character standees. Okay, so 8 new characters, 8 new character sheets. 8 new feat cards, so the feats that go with the characters. That makes sense. 11 item cards, so each character has a feat and an item usually, so there's a few new ones as well. 35 skill cards, 23 boon cards, plus 2 of each of 6 types, 2 each of 6 types. Okay. Maybe that means skill value 6 or something. Which is something that one of the BSG expansions did eventually. 10 waypoint cards, 10 spell cards, 2 ship damage cards, 15 prelude cards. Okay.
Spell cards?
No, prelude.
No, spells? Did they have spells in the first one?
10 spells. Yeah. The keeper of the
Oh, okay.
Yeah. 72 mythos cards, 8 character specific mythos cards, 1 captain title card. Yeah, keeper of the tome. 3 expansion reference sheets, 6 player reference sheets, 3 trader reference sheets, and 2 overlay tiles. Okay. So,
so it looks like when you do set up, it looks like you do remove some things from the original. So
yeah. So but first we add the 12 skill cards to the deck. We add the 10 item cards, the 2 ship damage, the 10 waypoint cards, the 10 spell cards, and the 72 mythos cards. So those just get all shuffled in.
Okay.
We're going to remove the character-specific mythos cards. So in the base game, each character has their own mythos.
So that it's replaced them with a different one then. So they've changed them.
Yeah, apparently.
Okay.
And then we replace the captain title with, because that makes sense because there's a new succession order. So they probably replaced the captain title card, keeper of the tome card again to add the new characters into the line of succession. 1 jam 10 grenade item card, 6 player reference sheets, and 3 trader reference sheets. Okay.
A jam 10. That just sounds vicious.
Jam
you think
10,
you're going to go get some jam, and it blows up on you.
Jam 10 grenade. So we're removing that item from the base.
No, you're replacing it. Yeah,
replacing it. Yeah, then there's new reference sheets and new trader sheets. Okay.
Okay.
And then prelude cards. This expansion includes optional prelude cards that modify setup. For the rules, you see page 9. Okay. So we also have a crate horror deck, which is a new step in setup. After step 4, so that's probably in the new reference sheet. So we'll look at that. Crate skill decks. So we've got a new skill type boon apparently. 8 create chaos.
Yeah,
they've got like these little blue cards here. We create the chaos deck, so we take 2 cards from the boon and the treachery skill without looking at them and shuffle them into the chaos deck. Okay, so we're gonna have from all. So I'm guessing before we didn't. It's been a while since I played Unfathomable.
So do we look at the pieces first, or do we just go into that?
We'll get to it.
I
want to make you wait a little bit, but I just wanted to see the setup. That was step what? 6? It said.
5. Wait. You're talking about which one?
The
chaos deck is 8.
The chaos deck.
That's 8.
Step 9. Step 8. Oh, okay. So yeah, in the base game we did not use treachery. We did not shuffle treachery cards into the skill deck. Now we do. So we're adding the boons and we're adding the treacheries.
Okay.
All right. Create
an ally deck.
Okay, these are new cards. These 12 ally cards here. Okay, and create.
The ally overlay. So one of these overlays an ally one.
Yeah, so the overlays are going to go on the board probably for expansion. Probably the boon is one of them. Yeah, that's what this one is, and then this one.
Oh, and then you spawn a couple of allies.
Okay, so we spawn some allies. Okay, so go ahead and flip over to the next page.
Okay. There's the spawn rules.
All right, you want to read that?
Whoa. Okay, so the following section describes the rules for the base game that are modified by the expansion and new rules introduced by the expansion. Number 1 is spawn. Passengers, allies, and horrors can now be spawned on the board in addition to the deep ones. When a player is instructed to spawn X components, they take X components of the indicated type from the supply on or top of the corresponding deck and place them in the identified spaces. So you can spawn cards or pieces. For clarification, if a player must spawn more components than there are deck or supply, other than the deep ones, they spawn as many as possible. Ally cards are spawned face up. If a player is instructed to spawn a specific horror, but the horror is already on the board, they move that horror to the indicated space. See horrors. We'll get to that in a second, I guess. Yeah, it's a couple of pages.
Yeah.
And then when a game effect instructs a player to risk a passenger, you can risk passengers now.
You could before.
I thought you could risk. No, wait. Was that in the first game?
Yeah.
Okay. The player rolls a die and spawns a passenger token in the deck space that matches the die result. This is identical to the functionality of the base. Oh, yeah. Okay. But the passenger counts as having. Hey, now. Having been spawned. I don't remember. It's actually been a while since we played.
Yeah. We don't have to read word for word. Just so we got passenger, we got rescue. So it looks like the passengers can go in the water now, which I don't think they did before.
No, they did not.
So sometimes they can get spawned in the water and you have to rescue them. So the allies is a new.
So that's an action. You have to. It's an action to rescue each passenger. So each one is an action.
Okay. And then the rules for the allies, which is a new concept.
So allies represent other travelers aboard the ship who can provide aid to the humans. Before or after a player can perform an action, they can use an ally in their space, resolving the ability on the card. So the example we've got here is a soldier who costs 3. Cost 3 or worth 3? I'm not sure. Defeat one deep one in any space, and then he wanders. Oh, wonder is something different, it looks like. Okay, so yeah. To use the ability of
skill cards, yeah. So value.
The player discards skill cards from their hand that have a total value. So you have to match this, it looks like.
So the discarding a skill card thing's different, but the like the end of after the end of the movement, it's kind of like the Ionian Nebula NPCs in BSG.
Only humans can use allies. So if you are a deep one, you can't use them.
Yeah. So it's kind of like the Ionian Nebula tokens, basically.
And if let's see, if an ability allows a player to use more than one ally, they do not count toward the player's one ally per turn. Oh, so if you've got an ability that can use it, then you can use that and still use a regular ally.
Okay. And then wander. What is wander?
Looks like allies wander. When they wander, player uses the tile, rolls a dice, moves to a different space. Basically, after you use them, if they wander, then you roll a die, and that says where they go to.
Okay. So
they move around.
Okay. And then there's flee.
And the player who used them chooses whether they move to a deck or interior space.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So a deck, of course, they're subject to the greater banishment spell.
Right.
That triggers, so. All right, and then flee.
Flee, it looks like whenever an ally is, let's see, when an ally space contains a monster or revealed traitor, if they become damaged, they run away.
Okay.
So it looks like, do you discard them?
Yeah, they probably go to the discard pile, I would assume.
Shuffle them into the ally deck.
Oh, they get shuffled back.
They get shuffled back into the deck.
Shuffled back in. Okay.
Oh, but they don't flee if there's another human. If a human player's in the space.
Oh, because they'll be attacked first, probably.
Right. So they're not in danger. So they only flee if they feel like they're in danger.
Right.
Okay. They can be defeated by the ritual deck, as well as by other abilities in the game. So, okay. And when they're defeated, they're removed from the game.
Oh, okay.
So you probably don't want them defeated if you want to use them.
Allies cannot spawn. Oh, there's some rule clarification.
So you can't spawn where move to the brig or sick bay. They can't spawn to or move to the brig or sick bay or water spaces. Okay, yes. You can't voluntarily go to any of the bad places.
Okay.
Action outside the turn. They can use the ally before the action on their turn if you get it outside the player. So, okay. Yeah, it looks like these are just clarifications, and then they're ruffian, so I'm assuming this is a specific ally. The attack follows the same steps as a human attack. The player using ruffian chooses the defender, the attacker, or the attack is affected by any abilities that can normally affect an attack. So it sounds a ruffian is an ally that actually fights, it sounds like.
Okay.
Okay. Now here's the bad guys. Here, you can have them.
Okay, so we got horrors. So it introduces 3 new monsters known as horrors: the Shoggoth, the Drowned Spirit, and the Grasping Tendril. While not as invincible as the monarchs, horrors are more dangerous than the deep ones and more difficult to defeat. Each horror has a corresponding activation icon. When a horror's activation icon is resolved, that horror's activation, if that horror is not already on the board, then it will spawn the horror. Each horror resolves its activation immediately. So the Shoggoth, his powers are, when the Shoggoth activates, if it is...
His power is he's ugly. Really ugly.
If it's not already on the board, roll a dice, spawn the Shoggoth in a deck space that matches the result. Then, whether or not it was on the board, the Shoggoth performs the first of the following options that it's able to do. So there's an order priority here, apparently. So it attacks each human in Shoggoth space. Add 1 to each die roll. Number 2, defeat each passenger in Shoggoth space. 3, damage Shoggoth space. The Shoggoth can only damage its space if that space is an interior space and is not already damaged. Or number 4, remove the top 4 cards of the item deck from the game without revealing them. Then move to an adjacent space where the Shoggoth move depends on the type of space it is currently occupies. If the Shoggoth is in a water space, it moves to the adjacent deck space. If it's in a deck space, it moves to the adjacent interior space. And if it was already in an interior space, it moves 1 space towards the closest undamaged interior space. If 2 or more undamaged interior spaces are equal distance. I know equidistant.
Equidistance. It means equal distance. Yeah, equidistance. Yeah.
From the Shoggoth space.
Somebody thought they'd get fancy with their.
Someone used a $3 vocabulary word.
Yeah.
Shoggoth space. It moves towards the space with the highest printed number.
Okay, so it looks like the Drowned Spirit is kind of does most of the same things because I was kind of reading him as you went, but he skips the first 2 steps, so it doesn't look like he will even attack humans. It looks like he just cares about damaging the ship.
Okay, he just wants to damage the ship.
He just wants to damage the ship. He'll come in the interior, and then everything else it looked like was pretty much the same as steps 3 and 4, and then everything below. All of that looks like it's basically the same thing.
All right. Then the third guy is Grasping Tendril. While on the board, the Grasping Tendril occupies water space and the adjacent deck space. Any ability that causes a tendril to move will cause it to occupy both a new water space and the adjacent deck space. The Grasping Tendril cannot move into an interior space, so it's basically part of, a bigger creature. When the Grasping Tendril activates, if it is not already on the board, roll a die, spawn the grasp to a water space that matches the result.
Okay.
Then, whether or not it was on the board, do the following. Attack a human in its deck space, add 1 to the die roll. Then move 1 space towards the front of the ship.
Oh, so it can move to the... Okay, it's like, I'm going to keep up with the ship.
Yeah, move each passenger token from the Grasping Tendril's deck space into the water. So he throws passengers into the water. Then move the Grasping Tendril 1 space towards the front of the ship.
Well, he can't eat them unless they're in the water.
Yeah.
He's got to get his nourishment.
Spawn a passenger in the Grasping Tendril's water space. Then move the Grasping Tendril 1 space towards the front of the ship.
He can spawn passengers?
If there aren't any passengers.
He'll find them.
Okay, so then there's a horror icon. It says it doesn't correspond to a specific horror. The icon resolves either as a track icon if there are no horrors on the board, or as an activation icon if there's 1 or more horrors on the board.
Okay.
So when a horror icon is resolved, if there are no horrors on the board, advance the horror track 1 space. So there's a horror track, apparently. When the horror token reaches the spawn space of the horror track, set the token aside, then draw the top card of the horror deck and resolve it. Oh, so it's got its own deck. Okay. Usually, the horror cards will instruct a player to resolve a specific horror activation, spawning that horror on the board. When the horror icon resolves, if there is exactly 1 horror on the board, that horror activates. If there is 1 or more horrors on the board, any player flips cards from the top of the horror deck until they flip a card with a title that matches the horror on the board. Okay. The horror activates, then the player shuffles all flipped cards back into the horror deck.
Okay, so it sounds like you really want to make sure that you can keep the monsters off the board if you can.
Yeah. Horrors are particularly tough monsters. When a horror would be defeated, the horror is not removed from the board. Instead, it is repelled. Horrors can be removed only by the effect of a track advancing, see the next column.
And the only way that's going to happen is if you throw them off the ship.
Yeah, when players repel a horror, they move into the adjacent space. Then that player may discard skill cards from their hand. They have a total value of 4 or more to move the horror an additional space. So you can do 2 spaces, apparently.
Okay.
Which player repels a horror and chooses where it moves depends on the circumstances. When a horror would be defeated by a player's attack, the attacker repels a horror. When a horror would be defeated by an ability of a skill card, spell card, ally card, or feat card, the player who used the ability repels a horror.
Okay.
And when a horror would be defeated by a mythos card, if it is the result of a choice, the player who made the choice repels the horror. Otherwise, the current player repels the horror.
Does it matter who repels the horror? Oh, because the discard to move them a second time.
And also where you move it, I guess. That could be a hybrid reveal, I guess, technically. It's like, move it.
So they've got an example up here of the horrors, and it looks like, so, yeah, your attack, if you attack successfully, you move it, and then you can do the discard to move it another one. So it looks like you can either move it further, you could probably either move it further down the boat or throw it overboard.
Yeah. And also, just a human can attack a horror, but you have to roll a 6 or higher to repel.
Okay.
Then removing horrors, the effect of the travel track and the ritual track are the only ways to defeat a horror and remove it from the board. When the travel track advances, horrors in water space move 1 space towards the back of the ship, just like Mother Hydra, Father Dagon. If a horror was already at the back, in a water space at the back of the ship, it is defeated, not repelled. When the ritual track reaches the cast space, each horror in a deck or water space is defeated. So just like the deep ones that everybody else.
Yeah.
When a horror is defeated this way, return it to the supply. Then, if there are no other horrors on the board, place the horror token on the start space of the horror.
So you only use the horror track when there's nobody there, it looks like. Right? No, it'll go back to the beginning.
Yeah, it'll go back to the beginning, yeah. Horror clarification. A player cannot perform a space's action ability if there's a horror, so it turns the space off, okay? When a horror is spawned by its specific activation icon, any player removes the token from the horror track and sets it aside.
So it does leave if there's a... Okay.
Horrors cannot spawn in or move to the brig or sickbay. During the Shoggoths or Drowned Spirits activation, if there are fewer than 4 cards left to remove from the game, remove as many as possible. Then the horror moves as normal. So you run out of items. That's bad, I guess. During the Grasping Tendrils activation, if there are no passengers left to spawn, the tendril still moves as normal. Horrors are monsters, but are not considered monarchs or deep ones.
Okay. They're their own class of monster.
Their own classification. Okay. So
the skill cards look the same. What are the boon cards here?
I'll let you read that.
Okay, so boons are supporting cards. They always count positively. They cannot be drawn unless an ability specifically uses the word boon. And both humans and traders can draw boon cards and use their abilities. So our example here is... Wow. Companion. As an action... Wow, I'm having a hard time reading this. Look at the top 2 cards of the ally deck. Spawn one to your space and place the other on the board or on the bottom of the ally deck. Okay, so you get to look at 2. Yeah, oh, that's way better. Yeah, so you look at the top 2. You get to pick one, put it out, spawn it, and then put the other one on the bottom. So you get to pick which one you want with this. Okay, so the boons look like pretty good things here. They do have? It looks like they do still have. No, that's not a cost. That's
just
a value.
Yeah.
Okay, so they have a value. Okay.
Yeah, because it still goes into still goes into a skill check.
Yeah.
So and then there's treachery cards as well. So the treachery cards are different with the expansion apparently. When using this expansion, abilities can cause humans to draw treachery cards. Humans can add treachery cards to skill checks and discard treachery cards for other abilities. While any player can can now draw treachery cards. Only revealed traders can use the abilities on treachery cards.
Okay. Well, that was kind of like it was in BSG. So
yeah, makes sense. Yeah, so the treachery works like Pegasus treachery deck, not like Daybreak's treachery deck.
Okay, so it looks like for Chaos deck, I think you just add boon cards to it. So new skill cards, we now have a 6 value card and a 0 value card for each skill.
Yeah.
So they've kind of increased the range a little bit.
Which one of the BSG expansions did that too?
Yeah. Each 6 value has the same ability as the 5 value, but because so let's see. Each 0 value has the ability that applies when revealed in a skill check. So so yeah, that's also taken from BSG.
Okay.
Let's see. The abilities resolve after the check is completed, so that's like BSG. The 0 cards have boon and treachery decks have abilities that apply while they're in a check. Okay. If multiple 0 cards are in the same check, the current player decides the order. And when adding 0 value cards, a player cannot communicate that they have added a 0 value card. Okay.
All right.
So yeah, that's all pretty much kind of the same.
All right. So now they changed the way the crisis cards work. Apparently, with the increased size of the Mythos deck, the procedure for resolving character-specific Mythos cards is adjusted. When using this expansion, the 18 character-specific Mythos cards, because there's are removed from the Mythos deck and set aside. I think there's like 10 characters in the base game and 8 in this one, I think. Instead, there's 12 personal crisis cards that are added to the Mythos deck. When drawn, personal crisis cards cause a player to resolve their character-specific Mythos cards. So you just,
I like that better.
Yeah, so you have your Mythos card off to the side. So, and also that prevents you drawing a card of a character that's not in the game.
Yeah. Oh, I wonder if they did that. I wonder if they got that idea kind of from Champions and the Shadows of the Past. That's kind of what that feels like. That's where they pulled that idea from.
Yeah. So if a personal crisis card is drawn while the current player is in the brig, that card is discarded and a replacement card is drawn.
Okay. No sense to punish you twice. Okay.
If an ability causes a player to look at the top card of the Mythos deck and the player sees a personal crisis card, they discard that card and look at the next card in the deck. Okay.
Ooh, you can potentially get rid of them.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Okay, then we have something called Preludes. So, Preludes are an option card that can be used to vary setup. Oh, that's cool. And the starting state of the board. They represent events that occur on the Atlantica's journey before the start of the game. There are 3 types of cards: day, twilight, and night. Day cards favor humans. Twilight cards affect everyone, and night cards favor hybrids.
Okay, so we're only going to use the day cards, right?
Yeah, well, let's see. During setup, before step 16, create a loyalty deck. So before we create the loyalty deck, shuffle the day, twilight, and night cards separately. Then do the following. Draw 1 day card, read it out loud. Draw 1 twilight card.
Read it and resolve it.
And resolve. Yeah, read it out loud and resolve it. Then draw 1 night card. Sorry, Dirk, you're doing one of each. Read it aloud and then resolve its ability. Then remove all prelude cards from the game. So
you do everything. Okay.
Yeah, we get 1 day, 1 twilight, 1 night. Okay.
I like the fact that there is some variability in there.
And then, if everyone agrees, players can vary the types and numbers. You can adjust it based on if you need to make it easier or harder for the humans and the hybrids.
It's Cthulhu. I don't think you need to make it any harder on the humans. It's normally pretty hard.
And then there's just some clarifications, which we're not going to read through. No. And then the credits on the playtesters. And then a new reference sheet. A new reference in the back. All right. Now let's get to the goodies.
Now to the good stuff. Bye-bye.
Get to the goodies.
Yeah.
All right. So we've got a board here. We got 8 characters.
So
there's the horror tracker and then some overlays. So
the overlays don't have any text, so I guess that's just to indicate which card. So that was the boons, and what's the other one?
The horrors.
The boons and the horror.
Yeah, the horror deck and the boon deck.
Oh, okay.
Because so we're adding 2 decks to the board, so there's 2 overlays.
No, one of them's allies, right?
No. No, this is a horse.
The horse?
So we add the...
No, that's allies.
Oh, is that ally?
That's the ally.
Oh,
the
that's the
ally.
ally. Oh, okay.
So, oh yeah, that's a person.
Oh, it looked like a tendril to me.
That's hair.
Oh. Okay, it's...
I realize neither one of us has hair, Dave, but that's what hair looks like.
Oh, okay. Well, so the lighting isn't great in here.
And then...
Yeah, so we got the horror token.
And then, yeah, so the boon card. This one's the boon one, and it's just...
Oh, so this is for the horror track, I guess. And then we've got...
Where's the bottom? Oh, it uses one of the plastic
Yeah,
ones.
it uses one of the little feet.
Okay.
Yeah, so we got 8 characters. We got a spot to put the ally deck and a spot to put the boon deck.
Okay.
All right, let's take a look at the little cards.
Okay, so we've got, of course, more feet, and it looks like there's, wow.
There should be 10, probably.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I see 9.
Yeah, no, that makes sense, because there's 8 heroes, and then we got 1 for the horror.
Wow, I'm kind of surprised they didn't just add a couple extras for the heroes, because the base game's already got some. But, oh well.
All right.
Now you got extras.
So, we got some cards here. So, we got the security officer. So, this is one of the allies, yeah. So, 6... Wait, is it an ally? Oh, yeah, it is.
That's an ally, yeah.
Yeah. So, 6 in influence or observation. Choose a human and resolve... Oh, okay. Choose a human and resolve this skill check. If the check passes, move them to the brig. Security officer wanders. So, this is the way you can brig people.
So, you have an ally that brigs people. Oh, that's interesting. In other words, the brig thing moves. You have to chase it down. You have to wait for it to come out.
If the check passes, move them to the brig. Oh, yeah. You go in there. You trigger. You move this.
No, you select a player,
Yeah.
and then you vote to move them to whether you're moving to the brig. So if you go activate that ally, you're deciding to
send someone to the brig.
send someone to the brig.
Okay.
That's interesting.
And it costs no cards to discard, except for you're doing it.
Well, yeah, you're discarding.
Okay. So next we got the mechanic.
All right. So the mechanic. So the mechanic repairs the board, not containing an enemy, and then they wander around. Does this guy wander too?
I think so.
I think they probably all wander, don't they? Yeah, it looks like it. It's looking like it so far.
All right, then we have the able seaman. It costs 3. Rescue each passenger in 1 deck space or 1 passenger in any water space. Do not spawn an ally.
Do they normally replace
Oh
themselves?
yeah, I think when you rescue a passenger, I think that was, we saw that in the ally rules. I think when you rescue a passenger, we kind of skipped over the passenger.
When a
rules.
player rescues a passenger, spawn an ally in that player's space.
Yeah, we kind of crossed over.
Okay.
That, I guess. Okay.
All right, so the soldier, we actually defeats a deep one.
Okay. Ruffian, you have to spend 2 skill card or 2 cost worth of skill cards. Attack 1 monster or reveal traitor in any ship space. Add 1 to the die roll. Ruffian wanders.
Okay. The host, choose any human. They may move to any ship space. Okay.
Oh, we have board game unbox. That's, what is it? Sweet, like. Oh.
Keep up the great videos. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Who is? I don't know who Board Game Unbox is.
Board Game Unbox.
I don't know. But
he's,
hi.
Yeah, he's replied to some videos before. Yeah, thank you for joining us. Yeah, we're kind of new to this, so we're kind of watching the chat here. So not always as much as we should be.
Okay. I'm bad at it.
But thank you for your comment and your nice words. Okay, so we got the professor here.
Where's Marianne?
That's the next card. 4 costs in cards. Draw 3 skill cards from any 1 non-treachery skill deck. The professor wanders. And then Marianne, also known as the cadet.
Marianne is a cadet. See there, she is right there. She's right there. From the action ability of a card in your play area or a skill. Okay, so it allows you to use a card that you've got twice.
All right, then we got the fortune teller. 4 costs worth of cards. Look at the top 2 cards of the Mythos deck. Place 1 card on top of of the deck and 1 card on the bottom.
Okay, so you get a little bit of
So kind of like a little
manipulation there.
Launch scout kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Quartermaster. So you can modify. You can play around with the waypoint deck here a little bit. Same thing.
Okay. Yeah, and I did watch the stream that the FFG people had. So here, this is Tony, who designed the base game, and he's now one of the lead designers in Marvel Champions. So they do things at Fantasy Flight when you've, I forget, 5 years or 10 years or something at the company, you get to be in art at some of the games. So this is Tony's card. Cost 0, gambler.
Oh, that's kind of cool. I like that.
Yeah. I think I remember a couple of the other cards when the stream. There was like three of the developers are in this box actually. Roll a die. If the result is 5 or more, draw 1 item card. Otherwise, shuffle 1 of your item cards into the item deck. Gambler wanders.
Okay, and the conspiracy theorist, and they can draw either a boon or a treachery if you use them. Okay, so those are kind of... So the allies can let's just do some really cool things. I don't know. I think my favorite one, just based off of what we see here, is I love the whole concept of the security officer. Where you want to brig somebody, you got to chase him down. You got to get his attention.
Yep.
And then you get the vote on it. But, I mean, what are these? Him and Tony. Him and Tony are the only free ones.
Him and Tony. We're going to be calling that the Tony card.
That's Tony now. I'm gonna grab a marker when we're done here, and I'm gonna write Tony on there.
Well, if you're going to buy me another extension, I guess. All right. So we have 2 new damage markers.
What if we take it and get Tony to do that himself?
Tony does to sign that card. Yeah.
Yeah, and mark out gambler while he's at it.
Yeah. Now then we'll keep it. We'll have our own. Okay. So then we have 2 new damage markers. The first one is false alarm. So remove this card from the game. So.
Oh, okay, that's nice.
No damage. And then you want to read that one?
Oh, I get the one with all the text, huh?
Yep.
Structural damage. Players, you damage. It's just you damage the ship space you're in, and as an action, you can repair it. Shuffle. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, that's a lot of text for saying damage the ship. All
right, then we have the ally-specific feats here. So I'm going to butcher these names. This is a Revelation Antar Al-Fakani. After skill cards are revealed during a skill check, if you are not in the brig, you may add 1 or more skill cards from your hand to the check. If you do, remove this feat from the game.
Feast. So that's idle Lawrence's, and before activation icon. If they're not in the brig, you may lose 1 food to move any number of humans. Okay, so you can actually... So as long as you're not in the brig, you can lose food to actually move humans in, to the galley to I'm assuming so that they're safe. So there's the cook. If you do, remove this feat from the game. So yeah, the cook can move people to a safe location.
Okay. Then we have unfinished business. This is for...
is it Guillermo?
Guillermain Delacroix? Guillermain Delacroix, maybe. Again, I said I'm going to be butchering these names, so...
I can't even see that from here.
If you are not in the brig, place the top 2 cards of the ally deck in your play area. Then you may use up to 3 allies in your play area without discarding cards.
Guillaume Delacroix.
Okay. Remove used allies and this feat from the game. All right.
Okay, so we've got Sardana Morganova. So when an activation icon would be resolved, if you're not in the brig, you may lose 1 sanity. If you do not resolve the activation. Okay, so you can skip an activation by giving up sanity.
All right, then we have popular support.
Yeah, you got plenty of sanity.
This is for Avery Engelbrich. If you are not in the brig or sickbay, spawn 2 allies in your space. Then take 1 title and remove this feat from the game. Oh, so this.
Okay, so I did notice.
This is Ellen's ability. You can take a title.
What I also noticed, if you're noticing here, I'm seeing the fact that not some of them are actions and some of them aren't.
Oh, okay.
So some of them actually require you to use your action, some of them don't.
Right. That makes sense. I mean, stealing a title from someone, that's pretty significant.
Don the Mask. Oh, I think I found my favorite part of the game. My favorite card. It's Kojak Fernandez. As an action, if you're not in the brig, defeat each monster, ally, passenger, and character in your space. Just kill them all. Let God sort them out. I like it though. Don the Mask.
All right. Then we have
just overcome with joy.
Beck and Call from Raul Martinez Garcia. At the start of your turn, if you are not in the brig, you may move to another character space. If you do, draw the skill cards shown on your improvements, active and inactive, and remove this feat from the game.
Ooh, that one's pretty nice. And that's not an action.
Yeah, but it's a one-time use.
Yeah, but still.
Yeah.
Well, so are all the rest of them are one-times. Okay, Instinct. Wong Mu Chu. After calculating the total of skill check, if you're not in the brig, you may roll a die and increase the skill total by the die results. So you're guaranteed 1 up to 8. If you do and the check passes, remove. This one you get to keep if it fails.
Oh.
It says cool. If the check passes, you remove it. So if not, that also sticks around. Oh. That's actually nice there.
That's pretty nice, yeah. All right, then we have...
Now we have their items.
Yeah, we have...
New items.
Yeah, new items. And some of these are going to be starting items for some people.
Yeah, we probably don't need to go over all of them, but...
Well, why not?
Okay, sure. Why
not? Notebook. After you perform the action ability of a non-treachery skill card of value 1 to 4, you may return that card to your hand. Limit once per turn.
Oh, hold on, I got to take this.
All right. Fillet knife. Action. Perform an attack against your enemy in your space. Then you may perform an attack against a different enemy in your space. And then we have the Spirit Board. At the start of your action step, you may defeat the top card of the ally deck to draw 1 card from any non-treachery skill check. Then we have the Flare Gun. You may perform an attack against an enemy in your space. Add 2 to your die result. Then you may choose another character and they may move to your space. Limit once per turn. We have a Whistle. Move 1 ally on the board to your space or spawn 1 ally in your space. Then perform 1 action. We're going to hold on to that one for when Dirk comes back. The Valise. You can have up to 2 active improvements. Search the item deck for an improvement card and place it in your play area. Then shuffle the item deck.
All right, what are we waiting on me for?
You like masks.
Oh, it's the cursed mask.
That's the mask you get.
This one's +1 treachery. When the card would leave the play area, draw 1 treachery card instead. Oh, win this card. And add the skill below to your skill set. Okay.
So you keep getting treachery cards. So you can be
that one right here.
You can be Ellen.
Come on.
No.
Just put it right there.
All right. Then we have the Mao, M-A-A-U. After a die is rolled during your turn or action, you may choose 1. Add 2 to the result or subtract 2 from the result. Limit once per turn.
Oh, that's pretty good. So, okay. See, Ritual Candles. So as an action, you can draw 5 boons. And oh, wow. Wow. And and which ones were these? We haven't gotten the boons yet. That sounds like it's going to be really good, though.
Baseball bat. Perform an attack against an enemy in your space. Add 1 to your die result. After the die is rolled, you may remove this card from the game to add an additional 2 to your die result.
Oh,
okay.
So you can still use it, but you can at any time. But
if you need an extra +2,
if you need an extra oomph,
you can break the bat. Basically, it's kind of like the baseball bat in Arkham LCG.
Okay. Oh, here's the jam tin grenade. This is the one that sounded so scary. It sounds so nice and innocent, but
right, this is the one that we removed. So this replaces the one in the base game.
Yeah, defeat each monster, character, ally, and passenger in a single adjacent space. If it was undamaged, If it's an undamaged interior space, damage it. If able, then remove it. So defeat each monster. Oh,
So it added
probably all they
ally.
did was just add the word ally.
Probably, yeah.
Okay, I still say that. Just the thought of that is
Okay.
just scary.
We'll go over the sixes. The book said they're the same as fives, but we'll go over them anyways. So this is the influence, inspiring speech. Roll a die. If the result is 3 or more, gain 1 sanity. Otherwise, lose a sanity. Yeah, it's inspiring speech from the forum, basically.
Okay, so
And
then
the
we've
level
got
0.
direct is after resolving the effects of a skill check that contains this card, the current player moves any human who is not in the brig to another ship space. So that one you can actually move another player, except for the brig or the sick bay. Okay.
All right. Then for lore, we have forced learning. This is the level 6. Play before any cards are added to a skill check. Choose a non-treachery skill type. It becomes a supporting skill. Supporting skill counts positively towards the skill check.
Okay. And then we have oust. So after resolving the skill check, effects of the skill check that contain this card, the current player moves 1 deep one. So now you can move a deep one to any other space.
All right.
I wonder if that's what I wonder if all the zeros are going to move things around. We'll see. We still got like 4 to go, right?
Something like that. So this level 6 observation is preparation. Play before any card are added to a skill check. Do not add cards from the chaos deck to this check.
Okay. Inspiration. After resolving a skill check that contains card, the current player chooses 1 other supporting skill from the check and adds it to their hand. Oh, so you can remove a card and add it to your hand. Okay. Yep. All right.
All right. Level 6 strength is...
No, they don't all move people.
Shrug it off. When you would be defeated, play to prevent yourself from being defeated.
Okay. Rumble. Are you ready for it? After resolving the effects of the skill check, let's see. The current player chooses any human. That human performs an attack against an enemy in their space, and performs the active action ability of one of their weapons. Oh, nice. So you can let another, or after a skill check, then you can let another player fight with a weapon.
Yep.
Okay, that's cool.
Then we have the will card, level 6, True Grit. Perform 2 actions, limit 1 True Grit per turn.
And evacuation. So this one is the current player chooses 1 passenger on the board and moves it. So half of them move, half of them don't. So you move a passenger.
All right. Then we have a level 6 treachery summon. Choose and resolve one of the following activation icons.
Those are the monster ones.
Those are the
I think,
monster
right?
ones, I think. Yeah, the 3 monster ones.
See, what do they look like? Which 3 are they? We got the Shoggoth, the Drowned Spirit, and the Grasping Tendril. Yep, that's what those are.
So you can summon, you can activate a monster. Okay.
Okay, and then Turmoil. During a skill check that contains the this card. During a skill check that contains this card, boon cards become negative.
Oh, okay.
So it turns boons into bad cards.
Right. They normally are always positive.
Yep.
Okay. And here's the boon cards. So here's the level 6 Providence boon. Action. The next time you would lose 1 or more resources this turn, lose 1 fewer resources.
Okay.
And that's the level 5 version.
Another 5. Okay, so then we have Ingenuity. So you can discard this card for an ability as if it were any skill type. Okay, so you can... All right.
Then we have some level 4s and level 3 Ingenuities. All right. Level 2 Companion. Look at the top 2 cards of the ally deck.
Yeah,
spawn 1 in your space and place the other
that was
on
the
the
one
bottom of the ally deck.
That's the one I did the preview on in the book that I read.
Those are level 2s.
It's way easier to read here than it was in
level
the book.
1s.
What's the 0? Well, the 0 is Revelation. During a skill check, let's see. Treachery becomes supporting. So you turn treachery cards good with this one.
Okay, and then we got some new spells, or extra copies of spells, maybe. We have Greater Banishment. Advance the ritual track 2 spaces, then roll a die. If the result is 4 or less, lose 1 sanity.
Okay, Storms of Spirits, or Storm of Spirits. Defeat up to 7 monsters in any space, and roll a die. If the result is less than or equal to the number of monsters defeated or repelled, resolve the following activation icon, and that is the Drowned Spirit.
Okay. Cast out. Defeat 1 enemy in any space, then roll a die. If the result is 5 or less, lose 1 sanity. Otherwise, you may resolve this spell again.
Wait, oh, so you have to... But do you have to roll a die every time, it looks like? Yeah, you do. Every time you do it. If you recur it, you have to keep rolling, it looks like. Because you redo it, so it's defeat, then roll.
Yep.
Okay, so you can loop it as long as you don't fail. How often is that going to happen? Right. Dousing. Move to any ship space, then draw 2 item cards. Roll a die on a 4 or less, lose a sanity.
All right. We have Uncanny Luck. Place this card in any character's play area. After a die is rolled during that character's action, they may re-roll that die. Limit once per turn. If the result of the re-roll is 2 or less, lose 1 sanity and remove this card from the game.
Temporal Barrier. Place this card in your play area. When an activation icon would be resolved, you may remove this card from the game. If you do not resolve that icon. And roll a die. On a 5 or less, lose sanity.
Alright, then we have Conjure Fortune. Shuffle 2, 4, or 6 boon cards into the Chaos deck. Then roll a die. If the result is less than or equal to the number of boon cards shuffled in by this effect, lose 2 sanity.
I was wondering why you wouldn't just always put 8 in, but that makes more sense now.
2, 4, or 6.
Oh, 2, 4, 6. Well, why would you always put 6? Because you could lose a lot of sanity. All right. Instill Bravery. Look at the top 4 cards of the ally deck. Spawn 2 in your space and shuffle the others into the deck, back into the deck. Then roll a die. On a 4, lose a sanity. If you use 2 allies without... Oh, you can use 2 allies without discarding them. Oh, that part's nice. Yeah. So you can choose which 2 allies, and you can use them both. But you could lose sanity for it.
All right, we have Temporal Discovery. Place this card in your play area. After the travel or ritual track advances, you may remove this card from the game to advance that track 1 additional space. If you do, roll a die. If the result is 5 or less, lose a sanity.
Okay. Blessing. Okay. So the blessing is place this card at any character's play area. They draw 2 boon cards and roll a die. If the result is 4 or less, lose a sanity. So they are going to lose the sanity, it looks like.
Okay.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Place this card. Oh, let's see if they have a clarification on that one. That is spell. Blessing. The spell is not an improvement, so it does not count toward a player's... Oh, no. Okay, so they don't... I'm assuming that it's the person who draws the cards rolls the die, but...
Well, place this card in... Oh, yeah, whoever's play area you put it in.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Because the
thinking.
keeper of the spells, normally... The keeper of the tome, I mean, is the one who gets the spells.
Yeah.
So you can assign this to someone.
Yep. But it gives them +1 boon. So it doesn't give them a spell or an additional
+1
card. They get a boon card every turn.
All right, and then we have some destination cards here. So 4 destination Bone Chill, lose 2 fuel. Each human discards two skill cards from their hand.
Mesmerizing Haze, lose 2 fuel. Roll a die 2 times. Spawn 1 passenger in the water space that matches each result. So you're throwing people overboard.
And that was a distance 4 card.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. So this is a
Yep.
distance 3 ship graveyard. Lose 1 fuel. Resolve the following activation icon. I think that's the Drowned Spirit.
That's the Drowned Spirit, yep.
Okay.
Another 3 Kelp Forest, lose a fuel, and resolve the Grasping Tendril. That's what that one's called.
Okay. This is distance 3 Sea Foam. Lose 1 fuel. Resolve the following activation icon, which I'm assuming
That's
is
the Shoggoth.
Yeah.
Ooh, Red Skies at Night. What is this? The Blood Moon. Lose 1 fuel, shuffle 4 treachery cards. Yep, Red Skies at Night. Oh, well, no, Red Skies at Night are supposed to be good. So that must be morning time. That's Red Skies at morning. And that's the Blood Moon.
Yeah, so Blood Moon is always
I don't
like
know the
rituals like
So red skies at night,
yeah,
sailors
blood,
delight. Red skies by morning, sailors warning.
But the Blood Moon is always like where you can cast spells and stuff. It's
uh-huh.
Okay, distance 3. Well, Blood Moon is like the second time a full moon in 1 month, I think.
That's a blue moon.
Is it? Okay. Distance 3, blustering gale, lose 1 fuel, roll a die, spawn 1 passenger in the water space that matches the result.
Okay. Distance 2, Aurora. You may risk a passenger to spawn 2 allies in your space or in 1 adjacent space.
All right, now we're at the distance 2, storm winds.
That's a 2.
Was that a 2?
Yeah, that's
okay.
a 2.
Oh, well, this one's a 2 as well. Storm winds. You may roll a die. If the result is 6 or more, advance the travel track by 1 space. Otherwise, damage the ship.
Yeah, most of those sounded bad.
Like getting an extra distance.
Ooh, tranquil tides. There we go. It's the doldrums. Roll a die. If the result is 5 or more, each player draws 1 boon card. Otherwise, each player draws a treachery.
All right, so those were the little cards, and now we should have big cards, and then we have the new boards. Before we go to the big cards, let's just take a look at the boards. We're not going to read through everything, but I just want to see if there's anything special.
Oh, on the player board?
Yeah, I think it's just probably summarizing the new rules, which we went through in the rule book.
So there's that one.
So these are
this.
Oh, these are 1 for each player. Then yeah, so they're interior space actions. So this is just an update. Revealing as a traitor, attacking deep ones or horror. So yeah, they just modified it.
Yeah, well,
they just modified it to add the new components.
Well, that might be, but they did an entire side here dedicated to activating monarchs and deep ones. Oh no, that's not. No, those are there before.
Yeah, but for the other side, that's for revealing as a traitor, right?
Revealing traitor, ritual track, advancing tracks. I'm sure they probably have some in here.
Oh yeah, because they talk about. Oh, this is for the horrors. Okay. Allies and horrors. Oh yeah, so these are just the new rules. So summoning allies and horrors. Oh, there's 2 different cards.
These are different cards. Okay. Oh yeah, that's what they did. Yep.
Okay.
Now you have multiple cards.
Okay, so they got the horrors and then they got the monarchs. So
yep.
The monarchs must have something different on them. Travel track. Well, there's probably some new rules, I'm sure. They wouldn't have, unless they're just giving you more copies of that, maybe.
Possibly.
I think there's only 2 or 3 in the base game.
Well, so you've got 3 of these.
Well, these you need because it's the new rules.
3 of these, so it's the same number.
Right. So there's probably we'd have to do a side-by-side comparison to see if there's any new text.
It probably mentions an ally in here somewhere.
Yeah, either that or the horrors. Oh, but we should go over the characters.
So,
yes. So we'll go over the characters' abilities.
So, all right.
Yeah, I'm not gonna look it up. Yeah. Okay. So, I'm going to butcher this name. Antar Al Fakahani. Okay. So he's got his gather. Oh, so he is 2 lore, 3 observation. He is the sleuth. Gather evidence. After resolving the effect of a skill check, if you are not in the brig or sickbay, you may choose 1 opposing skill card of value 1 to 4 from the skill check and add it to your hand.
Okay.
And his reveal power is Malign Epiphany. When you reveal as a traitor, if you are not in the brig, shuffle 4 treachery cards into the chaos deck, then draw 4 treachery cards.
Okay.
He starts in the cargo hold, and he has the notebook. And then we're not going to read his flavor text.
Okay, yeah, we won't read the stories. So Ida Lawrence, so she's the cook. You could tell earlier. So she's got 2 influence, 1 lore, and 2 strength. She is seasoned, so after she performs the action on a non-ability card, she may draw 2 skill cards of the matching type once a turn. Her reveal is gathering friends. When you reveal as a traitor, if you're not in the brig, remove a total of 3 allies from the board and or top of the ally deck from the game. Ooh, so you could do them in a combination if there weren't more out. Then roll a die 3 times and spawn a deep one on each space. She starts in the galley and she gets the fillet knife. All right.
So those of you who are only familiar with BSG and not this game, so the BSG, your reveal power is your loyalty card. It's on your loyalty card. In this game, each character has
a unique one,
a unique reveal power, and so the loyalty cards are just say you are a traitor or whatever. But so in the beginning of the game, so even if you don't become a traitor until sleeper phase, in the beginning of the game what your power, if you reveal, is. Or if you never reveal, you would know what your character would do, I guess, if they were a traitor. Okay, so this is Guillemine.
Guillaume.
What?
Guillaume.
Guillaume? Guillaume Delacroix. Okay. It's French, I'm assuming.
Yes.
2 influence, 2 lore, 1 will, the spiritualist. Lost souls. When an ally is defeated, place it in your play area. If you ever have more than 3 allies in your play area, remove all but 3 of them from the game. Before or after you perform an action, if you are not in the brig, you may use an ally in your play area. Oh, okay, that's kind of cool. The ally does not wander, limit once per turn. And the reveal power is Call the Dead. When you reveal as a traitor, if you are not in the brig, resolve the following activation. So that's
it's the drowned one twice.
The drowned one twice?
Yep.
Okay. And then your starting space is a chapel, and the starting item is a spirit board.
Okay. Then we have Sardana Morganova. They are the lookout. 2 influence, 2 observation, 1 will. They're on watch, so as an action, move to the bridge, or move to the bridge or to the deck space closest to any passenger, then perform an action. The reveal power is abandon ship. They just run and jump. When you reveal as a traitor, if you're not in the brig, move each passenger on the board to its close. Oh, no, everybody else runs and jumps. So you make everybody jump in the water. Then move each human and ally on the board to the closest deck space. Okay, they start on the bridge and they have a flare gun.
Yep.
Okay.
Avery Inglebreach. 2 influence, 2 strength, 1 will. The boatswain. Authority. You do not discard skill cards to use allies. Oh, that's cool. When you reveal as a traitor, if you are not on the brig, resolve the following activation twice. That's the grasping tendril.
That's the tendril, yep.
Yeah, that's what I assumed. And then his starting space is the boiler room, and he gets the whistle.
Okay. Cococh Fernandez, so is the Antiquarian. They're the museum curator. 2 lore, 3 will. Eldritch influence. When a die would be rolled during your action, if you're not in the brig, you may discard a skill card to set the die roll to 4. If you discarded a treachery card, set it to 6 instead. And heed the mask. The mask. This is all about the mask. The whole game is now about
all masks are cursed.
When you reveal as a traitor, if you're not in the brig, you can resolve the resolve the Shoggoth twice. Okay. Oh yeah. Kojo starts in the cargo hold and has the cursed mask.
Yep. That's like Dirk's cursed mask.
I am the curse.
Then we have Raul Martinez Garcia. 1 lore, 2 observation, 2 strength. He's the valet. Loyal assistant. At the start or end of your action step, if you are not in the brig, you may choose another human in your space. That human performs 1 action, limit once per turn. Oh, that's nice. And then betray. When you reveal as a traitor, if you are not in the brig, choose a human in your space. Take 4 random skill cards from that player's hand and add them to your hand. Dirk always loves losing random cards. Starting space, the captain's cabin, and he gets the valise.
Valise, okay. And then finally we have Wong Mui Chu. who is the Fisherwoman. She has 1 observation, 2 strength, and 2 will. Looks like sea legs. Move to a ship space that contains an enemy as an action, then perform 1 action. So you can move there and take an action. And your reveal power is when you reveal as a traitor, if you're not in the brig or sick bay, move up to 4 deep ones on the board to your space. It makes sense the Fisherwoman would, be reunited with their acquaintances. She starts in the boiler room, and she has the Ma'u.
Sounds a little fishy to me.
Yep. All right.
Then we got the big cards.
The big cards. That means, yep, the ones that I'm the most excited about are going to be last. I want to see what those do. So, all right. So we've got these cards. Oh, whoa.
So that's the horror deck.
Okay. So, that's what it is. So whenever one's out, then you just go to the next one and put it on whenever that one goes away.
Yeah.
Start. Okay. Oh, so it keeps them coming out too fast, but they're still going to come out on a fairly consistent basis, it looks like.
So there's 1 extra card.
Yeah, so we've got
the Shoggoth.
Shoggoth, the Tendril, the Drowned Spirit, and Ominous Vision. So that looks like a new one. Most of the rest of them are...
All right, well, let's read what they do. Let's find out.
Yeah, you resolve the following. So the Drowned Spirit, the Grasping Tendril, and the Shoggoth, all of those, you resolve their icon and shuffle them back in. And the Ominous Vision is the current player draws 1 boon card and 1 treachery card. Then places this card at the bottom of the horror deck and draws another horror card.
Okay.
Oh.
All right. Oops.
So.
Okay, so they all are pretty much the same.
Yep, it looks like it. So then we've got our personal crisis cards. Oh, wow, that's a lot of cards. We're not going to go through all of those. We'll maybe do a couple of random ones of those. But so the personal crisis, did we want to read what some of these do?
Let's read the... well...
I mean, this text is going to be the same on all of them.
Yeah, okay.
So, yeah, we can do them real quick.
These are all the same.
Oh, they're all the same. So if an effect causes you to look at this card from the top of the Mythos deck, discard it, and look at the next card instead. But, it basically is you resolve your character-specific Mythos card.
Right.
So, okay, so that's what all these do. So those get shuffled in. Let's just do a couple of random ones here.
So there's the new personal crisis for the new characters, of course.
Yeah,
so those are the same as in the base game.
Well,
they're unique for each new character.
Yeah, it looks like, they spawn allies, they activate tokens, depending pass or fail. Yeah, we won't go through every one of those, but...
these are all... Okay, so these are all just... So there's new crisis.
There are new icons on the bottom, it looks like, right?
Yeah, the spawn the horrors.
So, Mother Hydra, Father Dagon, Deep One, and then
this is horror. If there's a horror on the board, that's what the third symbol is.
Oh, okay, the horror. So I'm like, yeah, there looked like there were some new symbols.
Yeah. So
Mother and Father are still the same.
Yeah, those are all
the deep ones are still the same.
All of these crises have the horror. So you shuffle this in with the normal deck.
Okay, so none of the personal icons have horrors attached to them.
Right. So that's because they also set aside. But yeah. So about half the cards now probably will do something with horrors.
Wait a minute. Wong Muse activates Shoggoths.
Yeah.
And so they don't do them as... And here, Guillaume does drowned ones.
Yeah.
So 2 of them do. Depending on what happens.
So that is Unfathomable.
No, we didn't get to everything.
Well, what? What did you set aside? Oh,
those are the ones I wanted.
I didn't even realize you set cards aside.
No, those are the ones I'm interested in the most. These
are more crisis.
More crisis. So these are the ones I wanted to check out. We don't have to do all of them, but I want to check out at least a couple of them.
I didn't realize. Oh, these are the. Oh, yeah. So we have a new captain card. Let's see if it changed. When the travel track advances. Okay, that's the same. But we have a new order of succession.
And number 1 is the weirdo with the mask.
No, the captain is number 1.
So I said me. The weirdo with the mask.
Keeper of the Tomes. So there's a new keep. Oh yeah, I believe this is different. You look at the top 3 cards of the spell deck. I think before it was 2 cards. And then they have the order of succession on the back. So updated for the new characters. Yeah, and then these are the
prelude cards.
The prelude cards.
So I don't want to read them all because we want to let you have a little bit of surprise with them, but let's maybe just do one of each.
Okay, so one of the day ones is favorable condition. Advance the travel track 2 spaces. This does not cause components in the water space to move forward. So
so you'll start the game a little bit further.
Yeah.
All right, so then for a Twilight one, we've got valuable lessons. So each player takes one random unused feat card from the box and places it in their play area. So it looks like
so you get some of the other characters' feats.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, that's cool. Characters not in the game. And then a night one is boarding party. Spawn 1 deep one in deck space 3 and 1 deep one in deck space 4. Move each passenger in those spaces to the closest water space. So
oh wow, you could start the game with passengers overboard.
In the water, yeah. All right. So that is the prelude deck. And there's looks like there's 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so there's 5 of each. So there's quite a bit of replayability there. And if you use these, you shuffle, you draw one from each type.
Yep.
Okay.
I don't know. So from everything we've seen here, that sounds like a really fun addition to the game that I'm looking to see. But with it being an optional, I think the allies, I mean, those look like they might make the biggest swing in the game. The horrors, but the horrors, it seems like, they can be really bad if they get out of control, but if you can keep them under control, they might not be so bad.
Okay. So now we will open up the Q&A. If anyone has any questions, please. There's Tony.
There's Tony. See?
From Marvel Champions. He's one of the lead designers now, along with Caleb Grace. We got to meet both of them at Con of Heroes. That was fun. So I don't know if Board Game Unbox if you're still watching, but if anyone else watching, got any questions? Otherwise, we'll end this stream. But yeah, so we're looking forward to that. The next time we can get a group together. I personally, for this game, I like a minimum of 5 people, I think.
Yeah.
We played 3 and we played 5 before, and when we played 3, I can't remember. I think when we played 3, the humans usually won almost all the time, and when we played 5, it seemed like the hybrids all won. But that was with the base game.
But it was also seemed closer in those. Well, with the higher player count, the game actually seemed closer.
But now with the new expansion and we've got the preludes, we can also modify that, and if we decide, this is hybrid heavy, we can we can. So I like that they compensating for the, if it ends up being unbalanced. Yeah,
they can make you can choose to shift it a little bit one way or the other, depending on how your games play out for you a little bit. But I'm really kind of excited to see how the allies work in. Mm-hmm. The monsters, like I said, I think it's one of those that if you can keep them under control, I think you might be okay. But it feels like that if they start to get ahead of you, they're going to wipe you out, probably. Yeah. So, especially, they come in there and they can start just ripping through your ship.
Yeah.
And, that almost feels like, considering 2 of them do that, that might be the worst. Yeah. If you get them out there and just one right after the other.
But who knew that the waters outside of Boston was so dangerous? You're kind of close to Arkham, so I guess that makes sense.
They're upset because their tea's gone. That's what it is. The monsters are upset because the tea's gone.
Yeah, but that was centuries ago. Come on. The tea should have all washed out by then.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so kind of people are familiar with Arkham. So this game, I think it's like 1912. So it's... like 10 years, 15 years before the normal Arkham Horror. So, like I said, all the characters are brand new from the Arkham files.
Yeah, there's nobody from the Arkham LCG
but I'm
or board game.
That Beatrice Sharp is Amanda Sharp's aunt. So, and they're both fishy, so that makes sense, in the Arkham files.
Yeah.
So, okay, well, I think we'll wrap this up then. Thank you for watching, everyone. Please like and subscribe.